This is SCP Radio Network, coming to you live from Skylab Studios. Up next is Source Code News.
This episode of Source Code News is brought to you by Parties For You. For the best margarita machine rentals in Houston, give them a call. 281-748-0057. That's 281-748-0057. By Cazadores Tequila. When you're in the mood for tequila, buy the best. Cazadores Tequila. And by Alberta's Best Bet Bail Bonds. Don't gamble with your freedom. Give them a call. 713-237-8238. That's 713-237-8238.
Welcome to Source Code News, episode number 43, recorded on March 22nd. Is today 22nd?
Yeah.
Alrighty. 2018. This show brings you the latest in tech, science, and gaming news. We will also be bringing you interesting interviews and much more. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. Follow us on YouTube, Mixcloud, and all of the social media sites. We do the show live every Thursday night starting around 9:30 p.m. on scpradio.com, where you can check out our audio and video streams. We have also started SCP TV, which we've always had. It's just I never really called it that. But now we're going to have a 24/7 TV running all of our shows and interviews that we do, that we record. And we will start adding more to that soon. So you can find that on the website. If you go to scpradio.com, there's a SCP TV button. And you click on that. It'll open up a video screen. And it's showing what I had streaming already. But you can click the live button, and then it's going to open up something at the bottom, and it'll say it'll have a play button,
Source Code News.
It'll show Source Code News on there, and you hit play, and it'll bring up what's live, you know. So whenever we're live, you'll be able to see us live there on SCP Radio, SCP TV. So that's the newest thing we're doing. I'm still working on it, so I haven't really. It's not really completely done, but that's what we're working on right now. Okay, you can also join the chat room on scpradio.com. Call in at 832-910-7727 to ask a tech question or just to join the conversation. All right, so let me see this. Okay, well let me go ahead and get into it again. We've started a new venture, SCP TV. It's our TV channel that's running 24/7. I'm the one that's controlling all the content on there. I have to go ahead of time and make a playlist of what I want playing. And then, like I said, we're going to be adding to it. We'll be putting up a schedule of, at this time, you can watch, Source Code News episode number 5. And at this time, you can watch The Cave Show, episode number 30. Things like that. We'll put up a schedule. Even like Latinas Rising that just finished, that I have been putting them on there, their shows. Also, I've been putting interviews that DJ Fluffy and Mary Jane have been doing when we're out and about, covering events. So, and like I said, we're planning on making content specifically for SCP TV. So it won't be in the form that we're doing right now. It'll be more of a, how do you call it? It'll be more for TV, like a TV show or something like that. So that's coming up in the future. So, stay tuned. All right, so then next, Tumbleweeds. We'll be there this Saturday at Tumbleweeds. The SCP team will be at Tumbleweeds, so be sure to join us there. Performing live is Ligado, Insuperable, and Grupo Deseo. And of course, SCP Mobile DJs, DJ Jimmy Ray and DJ Fluffy will be in the mix. I will be streaming everything live on SCP TV, so come on out to Tumbleweeds and party with us. All right, so Faithy, let's get into some tech news.
Tech news.
All right, so Google Assistant can now send money to friends and family with Google Play. So Google announced that it's giving users the power to send or request money with their voice by bringing Google Pay to Google Assistant on Android and iOS smartphones in the US. Google's Home smart speaker will be able to do the same in the coming months, the company said in a blog post. Apple began to offer P2P payments through Siri with the introduction of iOS 11 last fall, and Amazon's Alexa may get P2P payments later this year. Funds sent with Google Assistant can be received by any person in your contacts, even if the recipient doesn't have Google Pay. People without Google Pay accounts can be guided through the Google Pay account creation process by Google Assistant when they ask to make their first payment. Users with Google Pay app will receive a notification when a payment is received, a process that only takes a second to transfer. Just like Google Pay on Android phones, Google Assistant can send up to $9,999 in a single payment. Faithy, can you send me a payment of $9,999 right quick through Google Pay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Go ahead.
awesome.
I got a phone though.
Okay, so though payments can be initiated through Google Assistant, the experience is not entirely hands-free, as you must authorize each payment with your smartphone, either with a fingerprint scan or by entering your password. The same requirements will be necessary when Google Pay comes to home smart speakers later this year, a Google spokesman told VentureBeat in an email. Google will have more to share about the role of Voice Match, Google's voice identification service, when Google Pay is introduced for home smart speakers, the spokesman said. To send payments, simply say, "Hey Google, send Charlie $15 for lunch today," or "Hey Google, request $20 from Sam for the show tonight." In January, Google combined Android Pay and Google Wallet into a single service called Google Pay. The Google Pay app made its debut last month, at which time the company announced plans to bring the digital payment service to Google Assistant and all Google products. So that's kind of cool that they're going to have it on the phone, on the Google Home. You know, that's what your mom has, I think, right, in her room?
Oh no, she talks to it all the time.
She's always talking to it. It's either a make-believe friend, you know, like a imaginary friend, or she's got a Google Home, one or the other. But she'll be able to be like, "Hey Google, send Mike, $20 because he's awesome," something like that. So that's kind of cool. And this thing they're saying about Voice Match, which will identify you through your voice. So that's pretty cool.
That's not okay.
That is okay.
Not.
It is.
But like, Cindy sounds like me. I sound like her.
Yeah. It probably can still tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Best Buy won't sell Huawei phones anymore. So is that how you say that? Huawei?
Wow.
Huawei?
What am I doing?
Maybe it's
God.
Huawei phones. So Best Buy will no longer sell Huawei phones, according to a pair of reports from CNET and Reuters. This marks the latest blow to the phone manufacturer's attempts to sell devices in the United States. According to CNET, Best Buy has stopped ordering new phones from the Chinese company and will stop selling Huawei's products entirely over the next few weeks. Huawei has faced an uphill battle in selling phones in the U.S. Major carriers, including AT&T and Verizon, have refused to sell the company's phones due to pressure from the U.S. government, leaving retailers like Best Buy and Amazon as the only remaining places for U.S. customers to get devices like the recently released Mate 10 Pro or upcoming P20 line of devices. Losing Best Buy, the largest consumer electronics retailer in the country, is another major setback for the Chinese phone company. Of course, all that pales in comparison to the fact that the U.S. government is opposed to Huawei's devices. The heads of FBI, CIA, and the NSA all recommend against using the phones due to concerns about the company's ties to the Chinese government.
Oh my God.
And a new bill currently working its way through Congress would ban government agencies from using Huawei and ZTE phones. So we talked about this, about the government, recommending against using their phones like a couple of shows back.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were always excited about Huawei phones because they were a little different from the ones they're making here, and some were pretty powerful and cheaper or whatever. So it was a popular. It was becoming popular within the tech community, but not anymore. All right, so let's get into some science news.
Science news.
So, InSight lander probing the Martian interior. Okay, InSight is the next NASA lander scheduled to head to Mars. It will be a stationary mission, not like NASA's famous Opportunity, Spirit, and Curiosity rovers. Staying in place is necessary for its major science goals, which include learning more about the Martian composition and how tectonically active Mars is. The mission will also be notable for its CubeSats, which will be the first time such tiny spacecraft fly beyond Earth. InSight is expected to launch sometime between May 5th and June 8th, 2018, from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California on an Atlas V vehicle from United Launch Alliance. If successful, the mission will land on November 26, 2018 at the Martian Elysium Planitia, an equatorial zone just south of an ancient volcanic area. InSight will send back data about the red planet's interior for about 1 Mars year, which is 728 Earth days, which is a little more than 2 Earth years. So did you know that, Faith? 1 Mars year is like 728 Earth days.
I mean, I knew it was longer, but I didn't know how much longer.
Yeah, almost a little more than 2 years. So
Yeah.
that's a lot. Okay, so let's move on to China's first space station is going to fall out of space very soon.
Oh.
So, a Chinese space station is going to fall uncontrolled out of space. And now trackers know when. Kind of. They know when, kind of. Satellite trackers have speculated since at least 2016 about the probability of China's Tiangong-1 space lab slamming into Earth's atmosphere. The lab was China's first prototype space habitat, the site of the country's first orbital docking and long-term space stays. But launched in 2011, it's long since reached the end of its operational life, and China appears to have no plans to boost it into a higher orbit. More recently, Tiangong's fiery re-entry has looked a lot more imminent. But predicting when exactly the 8-ton vehicle would fall to Earth is a difficult challenge. As recently as March 2nd, the European Space Agency, ESA, couldn't get any more specific about the re-entry date than sometime between March 24th and April 19th. But now trackers are getting a lot more specific. The lab should fall to Earth within a few days of the end of March. Marco Langbroek, an archaeologist who has made a secondary career out of tracking satellites, predicted on March 20th that the space station will re-enter the atmosphere within 3 days of March 31st. That closely matches the ESA's latest forecast, issued Saturday, March 17th, that the re-entry will occur between March 30th and April 6th. Knowing when the re-entry will occur is only half the story, though. The space station is moving too fast and is too uncontrolled for trackers to peg where it will enter the atmosphere. Any more specifically than somewhere between 43 degrees north latitude and 43 degrees south latitude. That's an area that includes Boston and Beijing, but also Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Brisbane, Australia. Not to mention a whole lot of ocean. Most of the populated world falls within the possible re-entry zone. At no time will a precise time location prediction from the ESA will be possible, stated the ESA. So since it's, moving so fast or whatever, they can't predict, when it will come in. And it's crazy because it may make landfall on where population is, where there's people in a city, so
That's scary.
yeah. So, all right. I see my mom's watching and my dad. Hey. And Cindy. Cindy's watching. Hey, folks. Awesome. So, let's see. In court, oil companies admit reality of human-caused global warming denies guilt. Okay. On Thursday, in a packed federal courthouse in San Francisco, U.S. District Court, Judge William Alsup donned a space-themed tie and listened as scientists and lawyers formally presented the fundamentals of climate science. The hearing, dubbed a tutorial by Judge Alsup, marked the first time a judge has ever asked for and heard a presentation of climate science for the purposes of deciding a court case. The case Alsup is presiding over involves several fossil fuel companies and two major cities, San Francisco and Oakland. The cities are suing the world's oil giants, Chevron, BP, Shell, and others, for extracting and selling fuels that the companies knew would stoke climate change and sea level rise. Adapting to these changes requires massive infrastructure undertakings such as building formidable concrete seawalls, and the coastal cities want big oil to pay. Judge Alsup gave each side 2 hours to present charts, data, and research on both the history of climate science, and the best science known available on global warming, glacier melt, sea rise, and coastal flooding. Although Alsup made clear from the outset that the event was not a trial of climate science, but a climate lesson for himself. The evidence provided likely foreshadows the arguments both sides will make during the actual trial, while admitting the reality of human-caused global warming. Lawyers for Chevron, the other oil giants, have 2 weeks to tell Alsup if they agree with Chevron's science presentation, presented outdated science, and repeatedly emphasized uncertainties about how fossil fuel emissions will affect global warming. They also presented climate change as a global problem requiring a global solution, foreshadowing a defense strategy of arguing that no single company should be held liable for climate change related damages. Oil companies basically went from a climate denier's playbook, said Casey Siegel, director of the Climate Law Institute, in an interview. They overemphasized and overstated really narrow issues of uncertainty about the effects of global warming. For instance, the oil company's lawyer, Ted Boutros, cited a UN intergovernmental panel on climate change report from 1990, which stated that the observed increase in global temperature could just be due to natural shifts in the planet's climate. Nearly 3 decades have since passed, however, and confidence has grown about tying increased temperatures to fossil fuel burning. A federal climate report published in late 2017, for example, found that there is no natural explanation for recent global warmings. No natural explanation. So, if it's not natural, that means we probably did it.
We did all of that.
Yeah. So this assessment concludes, based on extensive evidence, that it is extremely likely that human activities, especially emissions of greenhouse gases, are the dominant cause of the observed warming since the mid-20th century. The report said, for the warming over the last century, there is no convincing alternative explanation supported by the extent of the observational evidence. As Don Wubbles, a former White House climate science advisor and atmospheric scientist, said during the tutorial, 17 of the last 18 years have been the warmest years on record. The instrumental climate record began in the late 1800s, although researchers have far longer have far longer climate timelines gleaned from tree rings, ice cores, and other so-called proxy sources. While three climate scientists presented climate science basics for the plaintiffs, the defendants relied exclusively upon Boutros, who has previously defended both Walmart and the Standard Fire Insurance Company before the U.S. Supreme Court, to inform the judge about the nuances of climate science. So let me see. I don't know if Ted Boutros has a background in climate science, but he has a background in spin, Siegel said. So, yeah. I mean, there's plenty of proof, about us being the reason for, climate change, for global warming. So, and like they said, they have to go to try, information from back in the day. We've constantly been doing new studies and stuff, and they got new info now. They don't need to go back to the old info. All right, so let's move on to some gaming.
Game news.
All right, so Nintendo will hold Smash Bros. Switch tournament in June. So let's see. Did you?
That's a video.
Yeah. Okay, so the debut of Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch is finally within spitting distance. On June 11th or 12th, Nintendo will host a Smash Switch tournament at E3, where invited players will compete at the recently announced title at the same time. Nintendo's Splatoon 2 World Championships will take place, featuring top teams from Canada, Europe, Australia, and Japan.
Can I play?
Yeah, go ahead.
With the sound?
Yeah, that's fine. Check out this little quick video. What is that? That's Splatoon. It's a game where you shoot paint at the other. Instead of shooting a gun, you bullets. You're shooting. Yeah, they're like octopuses or something. Uh-oh. So what's happening?
Oh my god, it's that thing.
Who's that guy?
I don't know.
Who's that guy? All right, so that's the video for Super Smash Bros. Let me see. Nintendo threw a big old Smash Invitational tournament at E3 before the debut of Super Smash Bros. 4 on the Wii U, which was hosted by gaming personality Jeff Keighley. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé presented a trophy to winner Gonzalo Zero Barrios, who beat out Super Smash Bros. Melee champion Juan Hungrybox Debidma in the finals. This year, players still question whether Smash's Switch incarnation will be a new game, a port of Smash 4, or some combination of the two. The teaser trailer featured Splatoon's 2 39's inklings, indicating that there will be some juicy new content. We do know that whatever it is, it will be compatible with Nintendo's GameCube controllers, Pro's preferred way to play. So yeah, I guess you can use the GameCube controllers on the Switch. I guess that way you have a real controller in your hand, not the little that little baby thing.
I want to play that game.
What, the Super Smash?
Yes.
We'll
I
probably
love
Mikey's
that.
probably gonna get it. We'll make him buy it. It's his. We'll be like, hey, that's your Switch.
You won't let us do it.
I'll take it from him. All right. Next up, Epic Games shows off amazing real-time digital human with Siren demo. You can play that video too. Yeah, it starts off like Siren.
Oh.
There we go. Check it out.
Hello, I'm Siren, and I'm a digital human. I was created by an international
Change the
team
thing.
of artists and engineers who wanted to challenge our ideas of what a synthetic human could be. I've got state-of-the-art real-time graphics and an unprecedented level of detail in my eyes, skin, and hair. Cool, right? But I'm more than just a collection of fancy pixels. I'm actually being driven by a real human actress and her dynamic motion capture through Unreal Engine. So what are you waiting for? Come meet me at the Vicon booth and see for yourself.
All right. So, Epic Games, Cubic Motion, 3Lateral, Tencent, and Vicon took a big step toward creating believable digital humans today with the debut of Siren, a demo of a woman rendered in real time using Epic's Unreal Engine 4 technology. The move is a step toward transforming both films and games using digital humans who look and act like the real thing. The tech shown off at Epic's event at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco is available for licensing for game or filmmakers. Cubic Motion's computer vision technology empowered producers to conveniently and instantaneously create digital facial animation, saving the time and cost of digitally animating it by hand. Everything you saw was running in the Unreal Engine at 60 frames per second, said Epic Games Chief Technology Officer Kim Libreri during a press briefing on Wednesday morning at GDC. Creating believable digital characters that you can interact with and direct in real time is one of the most exciting things that has happened in the computer graphics industry in recent years. The tech is an improvement on what Epic showed 2 years ago with a demo of the Senua character from the groundbreaking Ninja Theory video game Hellblade, which debuted in 2017. Epic showed it will be unveiling the Siren character, which was driven by a live actress. It showed realistic face and eye movement and the ability to interact with participants. The demo used 3Lateral's facial rigging technology with body animation driven by Vicon's motion capture system. Cubic Motion's computer vision technology tracks more than 200 facial features at over 90 frames per second. It automatically maps this data to high-quality digital characters in real time. We are offering the keys to unlock a virtual world, enabling content producers and game developers to more easily interact with our technology and streamline the creation process for performance-driven real-time digital humans, said Andy Wood, chairman of Cubic Motion, in a statement. By 2020, this will no doubt transform content production across the board by making this technology universally available. By 2024, we may all be interacting with digital humans in some way or another, whether it's via headsets, films, TV, games, live performances and broadcasts, or by directing digital assistants in our homes in real time. Cubic Motion's motion capture technology allows a live actor to perform within the entertainment and game world in real time. The technology transforms the production process, allowing directors and producers to see the result instantly and perform continuous retakes, saving time and money when developing games, films, TV, and virtual assistants. It also works for live esports broadcasts, allowing new content to be created in real time and transmitted directly into a game. The real-time presentation displayed during Epic's keynote was previously recorded on Vicon's capture stage at its headquarters in Oxford, England. To create the video, actress Alexa Lee wore a full body motion capture suit with a head-mounted camera. Using Vicon's new Shogun 1.2 software, her body and finger movements were captured on one screen while the data was streamed into Unreal Engines using Vicon's new Live Link plugin. On the second screen, the Siren character created using the likeness of Chinese actress Bingji Jiang moved in sync, driven in engine at 60 frames per second. When we began working on Siren, we knew from the beginning that it was going to push several boundaries. To make this possible, we needed the best motion capture hardware and software, said Kim Libery, Epic Games CTO. The Siren project began as a collaboration between Epic and Tencent, with the goal of creating a proof of concept demonstration to show both the capabilities of the Unreal Engine 4, and what the next generation of digital characters will look like. Libery said the real actress would demo the tech live at Epic's booth during GDC. So that's pretty cool.
I'm gonna cry.
She looked real.
That was like that. That's too real. That's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, but like, oh my god.
All right. So next up is Oculus. Oculus could be aiming to make VR a bit more real with these haptic gloves. All right. So what is a haptic glove, Faith?
It's a glove.
It's a glove that
It's a haptic glove.
when you have the headset on, Oculus Rift, and you go to pick up something in the game or in whatever you're looking at,
Does it make you feel it?
it makes it feel like you have it in your hand.
I want one of those.
That's a haptic, that's haptic feedback, and those gloves, do that. It makes it feel like you're holding something. All right, so picking things up in virtual reality usually involves pushing a button on a touch controller, and it's not exactly the most immersive part of the VR experience. It's a constant reminder that you're not actually interacting with anything. Oculus might be gearing up to change that with a set of VR gloves described in a pair of patent filings made public on Thursday, March 22nd. It's not the first time we have seen this kind of technology introduced as a VR peripheral, and it's also not the first time Oculus has dropped hints that it is working on this kind of technology. In February, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg teased the Oculus VR gloves in a Facebook post. And these patents shed some light on just what was going on inside those fancy white gloves. The haptic feedback mechanism includes a composite extendable ribbon coupled to a glove digit of a glove body. The glove digit is configured to work around a finger of a user's hand, the patent reads. The patent is described as a pair of gloves that include internal tendons that tense and relax in order to simulate your sense of touch in VR. Normally, when you touch something or pick something up, the pressure you experience in your fingertips is from the hand pressing against the object itself. These gloves work on the opposite principle. The tendons that run on the backside of the gloves are designed to offer resistance to your hand movements, simulating what it feels like to touch an object. The haptic feedback facilitates an illusion that a user is interacting with a real object when in fact the object is a virtual object. The patent continues. The mechanism resists movement by one or more portions of a user's body. Think of it like tying a string to each one of your fingers and pulling up on those strings from behind your hand. It's going to make clenching your fingers difficult. That kind of resistance is the exact kind of resistance these gloves use to simulate touch. On its own, it wouldn't really feel like you were grasping an object. It would feel like something was pulling on your hand. But coupled with a VR headset, immersive sound, these kinds of physical cues can be the difference between a sort of immersive experience and a truly immersive VR experience. So, yeah, like they're saying, because you're looking at it, the moment you go to grab it and you feel that your resistance, you're in your mind, it's going to say, oh yeah, you're touching that, you're holding that device or whatever. So, that's why they're saying with all that together, it's going to make it, it's going to make it seem better, seem real. All right, so it's time to move on to some commercials. Yeah. Hey bartender, we need a round of shots.
Do you want what everybody else is having, or do you want the best of the best?
Of course we want the best of the best.
Well then, Tequila Cazadores is the one for you.
For those special moments in your life, whether it's a special occasion or just a day relaxing with your friends, drink the best of the best, Tequila Cazadores.
Hey Michelle, my birthday's around the corner. I want to throw a big party and wow my guests, but I don't know what to do.
All you have to do is call SCP for your DJ needs and Parties for You for your margarita rentals. They have the best margarita mixes in town. With these two companies, you will wow your guests. They will talk about your party for years to come. For your margarita rentals, look us up on Facebook, Parties for You.
Or call 281-748-0057.
And don't forget to mention SCP sent you.
Together, we are the future of entertainment.
The next time you or someone you know get into trouble, don't call your parents or best friend. Call 713-BEST-BET. That's 713-BEST-BET for Alberta's Best Bet Bail Bonds. Don't gamble with your freedom. They will take charge of the situation and get you out of jail quick. Give them a call, 713-237-8238. That's 713-237-8238. And be sure to let them know that SCP Radio sent you.
You're watching SCP TV. All right, so we're back. So that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you, Faithy, for producing and clicking all the buttons over there and handling the show. And not falling asleep. Did you unmute yourself?
No, and not falling asleep.
Okay. Well, you know, young Padawan over there is learning well. So she's I'm gonna be able to stay inside and have her just come out here and produce all the shows pretty soon.
I'm gonna hit you.
Okay, never mind. All right, so thanks to all the listeners and viewers on SCP TV. We appreciate you guys. You can find more info on us at scpradio.com. We are on Twitter at Space Cadet Pro, on Facebook at Space Cadet Pro, and on Instagram at SCP Radio. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher app. You can email us at scpradio@spacecadetpro.com and leave us a voicemail at 832-910-7727. Thanks for joining us live or downloading the on-demand version. Hope to see everyone back next week for another episode of Source Code News.
This is your boy, Light Jockey Mike, and I just wanted to thank you for supporting SCP Radio. That's the end of our show, but please be sure to check us out on SpaceCadetPro.com, where you will be able to watch our videos, find and like all of our social media accounts, and chat with us. While you are there, click on the radio tab, where you will be able to see the show schedule and all of the different ways to reach us. You can also listen to us from there if you are on a PC or laptop. Thanks again, and remember, we are the future in entertainment.